To your Saturday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I'm your host, Maddie Evans, and I love getting to be here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with you to chat about all of the wonderful things taking place in our community. Now, I hope that you made your way over to Park City Film yesterday to enjoy the animation Oscar-nominated short films. Now, tonight is the docu-series or the documentaries of the short films that are also Oscar-nominated. So if you've not yet been over there to check out all of the fun, make sure that you do so because they're doing a different theme each and every night, and it's just a great way to get out there and really enjoy that film part of our community, which we all know and love. We want to mention again that Park City Mountain has extended their season for the first time to the longest season since 1993. So if you like to get out there and ski and ride, well then congratulations, you get a longer season this year. Now we've got a great show in store for you as there's an exciting event coming up with Nuzzles and Co. And maybe you're looking for a forever friend. Well, we had an opportunity to maybe meet one that you could bring home and absolutely love. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. And then if you like to cook easy and delicious and healthy meals, well then Tracy Miller from Colorful Cooking is going to give us some great tips and tricks about some things that you can make at home. Now let's take a look at that local weather forecast.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back to the show. It's always my favorite time of any day when I get to talk about how you could bring home a forever friend. And Nuzzles and Co. does just that. They're the experts in the space. And I've got Josh and Scooby joining me first thing this morning. Thank you for joining us, chatting with us, and look at that face.
Hi, can you say hi, Scooby? Oh, come here.
Scooby, let's see your face. Scooby, look up. Scooby, look over here. Can you hear my voice? Oh, he's so handsome, and he's so special because he only has 3 legs.
Yeah, Scooby is oh, thanks, bud. He's a very friendly, very sweet Fres dog. He came from the Navajo reservation. We think he was hit by a car when he was before he was brought to us. So he actually had this leg removed. So he's a tripod dog. And then his other back leg, his hip was all messed up. So we had to have a ball joint kind of hip surgery over there to kind of clean it out, make it a little less painful for him. So he is able to use the back leg pretty well now, but he's almost like a little bodybuilder who forgets to do leg day. He's pretty built up front and then kind of hops around on that little back leg.
Oh, he is so cute. And yeah, he looks stocky on the front, but I can imagine how his legs look a little bit skinny back there. And now, how old do you guys anticipate Scooby is?
We think he's somewhere in the 4-year mark, based on dental and all that other stuff.
Which it's so sad to see these res dogs come in these really bad conditions where they do need that little bit of love, that extra time with you guys so that they can heal from these operations. And so let's talk about why Nuzzles is so important to the community, especially because you guys do take these dogs and you hold on to them as they go through their medical. As long as they need to be loved, you guys have the love to give them until they find their forever homes.
Right. Someone like Scooby, who needed a little bit of tender love and care. He's been in a foster home for a minute. We obviously took care of the medical needs for him, the surgeries. He's done 2 of those to take care of the hip and the leg. And we take care of all that stuff before we even put him up for adoption. And we don't post any of that cost on when he gets adopted. really our end goal here is to end the homelessness for these animals and find him a forever home. And we do a lot of what it takes to kind of get them ready for that.
Whatever he's looking at, he is laser focused on it now. He has such an adorable big square head. I love it. I just want to kiss his little hippo head.
He's pretty affectionate, as you saw when the video started here. He loves people and he gets really excited for a walk. That way that hip got the surgery is he doesn't have as much mobility, but he does need to go on regular walks. Otherwise, that hip joint will get really stiff on him. So he's not going to be running any marathons with you or long distance runs at all, but he does need to be regularly walked in order to keep that nice and kind of moving around
But
and
which is so important. And also, let's talk about these red dogs for a minute because they come from these situations where they don't have access to spaying, neutering. So there's just puppies galore sometimes on these reservations, which then leads to dogs like Scooby.
we've actually had a relationship with the Navajo reservation for several years now, and our intake director is Navajo. We've actually got a place down there now, so we do spay and neuter actually quite a bit more often now, and we're doing better with providing some resources down there. The part that's hard to do and scary is there's an estimate that there's a couple 100,000 dogs that are just they don't have homes and they're breeding and so we make a small dent, but the problem is bigger than that. So we rescue as many as we can and find them their homes.
I mean, the way Scooby is looking at whatever is off to the side of the camera right now is melting my heart. He just looks like such a little love. Scooby, can you look over here? Hi.
What is that? What is that?
Scooby, look over here. Hi. Oh, you're
That
very
works
handsome.
perfectly.
I know he like got it right on cue, and the cute little puppy head tilt that he is still doing. The coolest part about what you guys do is you bring these dogs, you give them a new opportunity of life, and all of them seem to be so incredibly grateful.
They are, and honestly, I look in their eyes. I mean, I walk around and say hi to the dogs when I get to work every day, because you create these relationships and you just fall in love with them all. You look in their eyes, and they just say like, "Love me, pay attention to me." I mean, dogs are were domesticated because they like being around people, and that company is just so important to them. And while we do give them the best situation we can, I mean, being in a home situation is always going to be infinitely better than being at the ranch, which is why a foster program is so important and ultimately adoption into a home.
Now, let's talk about how people can become fosters and what the process and kind of the screening process is like before they can commit to being a foster.
We keep it pretty simple, actually. If you go to the website, there's ways to get involved, and there's the foster application. There's also a volunteer application. In both the cases on that, we sort of ask you, what is it that you want to do? What's your experience with cats or dogs or animals in general? Do you want to be involved with puppies or moms or older dogs? We have a family that moved in recently into the area and they show up and grab some of the dogs. Well, they'll take a dog for a week that's probably been here on the longer side. And then they'll take a week off and then they'll come back and pick a different dog. And they've been so fantastic because we're learning what these dogs really are like when they're in a home setting, which the dogs really do open up and kind of change how they act. And like one dog that's been with us for several, I mean, I think she's been here with 6 months or so. She's now running like miles and miles a day with the foster parents right now, and she's just having a ball and really meshed with the family really well. And when we get that information, it really helps us kind of change what we've got in the listing. And I can maybe do a new social media post that says, this is what we know about this dog. This is why they're going to be a great addition to your family.
Which I think is so important. And you guys have a really fun event coming up that's going to fully support you and help you raise the funds that you need to continue to do what you guys do. And it's called Take a Gamble on Love.
It is, yeah. When you pulled up the page there, it's right on our homepage. We're going to be doing on Saturday, March 25th, Take a Gamble on Love. It's your chance to do some legal gambling in Utah. Your ticket price gets you in, gets you some chips. We have craps, Texas Hold'em, roulette, and blackjack with some like professional dealers for all those things, professional game guys, and drinks, food. it'll be a fun time. We have puppies at the door so people can remember exactly what the cause is going to. And then if people want to buy in again, all that money goes to Nuzzles. So that's why it's legal gambling in Utah is you're not actually going to win any money. It's all for charity.
Well, and the rights to the bragging if you do win, if you can beat
Absolutely.
beat the dealers
And
there.
and I think we'll have some fun stuff as we'll maybe pick some winners and go, you were the best at this, or we'll figure out another way to recognize them that keeps it nice and legal there. But that'll be at the Double Deer at Promontory, which is a really beautiful venue. Um, it's going to be a really cool event. This is the first time we've kind of upped the ante on this and really made it a beautiful, cool event.
Now, if people want to come and participate in all of the fun, do they need to go online first to buy their tickets?
Yes, they do. It is because it is a private event in order to do the gambling. uh, do have to be a ticketed person at the door. Tickets are available on the website. There's a link to click it, and it'll take you to a different portal that'll tell you all about what the ticket entails. If you just want to be a sponsor for the gambling event, we also have opportunities for that.
Which I think is so cool. Your guys' community involvement, I think, does wonders not only for the pets, but for you guys as an organization. Now, if people are interested in donating money just to a good cause like yourselves, what's the best way for them to get more information and where can they donate the money?
Same thing, go to our website. I believe it's Get Involved tab on the top. There might even be a donate next to that. It'll take you to our donation platform. You can choose to do a single donation or you can become a member of the Love Collective. The Love Collective is what we call our monthly donors. And monthly donors are so important so we know what kind of a budget we can rely on every month. And that is directly related to how many dogs and cats we can bring in and help rescue.
Now, someone like me who's in the younger demographic, if I were to cut a latte out every week, that's $5 that I could save, which means that I could pledge $20 a week, which is $80 a month. Would that $80 still make a difference to you guys, just so people are
It's a
aware?
huge, yeah, it's a huge difference. I mean, that goes towards paying for the cost of spay, neuter, microchip, of feeding them, all the cost of transporting them to us, getting them ready for adoption. So, I mean, that we're talking lots of dogs for $80 a month.
Which I think is so incredible and such an easy pledge for people to do. Now, if people maybe recently lost a pet or just came across having quite a bit of extra supplies, is that something that you guys will accept as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take in-kind donations is what we call those. So you can bring us food, dog beds, blankets is always nice. Some of these dogs, as they're relaxing, like to chew up their blankets, and so sometimes we go through more blankets. Dog toys are another thing. You know, some of those stuffed animals only last so long as they go through Scooby's mouth.
I was just going to say, now my final question is, if someone's interested in adopting Scooby, what's the adoption process for him like being a tripod?
You know, it's the same as the other adoption process. We do have a application. We just want to find out what your living situation is like, if you're allowed to have a dog in the place that you live. For someone like Scooby, we'll talk about what has happened with him medically and what his needs are moving forward. So kind of like what I talked about with he'll need lots of short little walks to keep that hip nice and mobile. But I mean, he gets really excited. Even in the home, he would just kind of hop around and bounce around. He gets excited to see people just like any other dog.
I mean, his snuggles look phenomenal right now, and he's been all
He,
sorts of loving to you, giving you all
he's
sorts of
been
face kisses.
cuddly and affectionate. I mean, that says a lot right there.
It does, and he's so handsome.
He's a very handsome guy.
Josh, thank you so much for taking the time, giving us all this great information, and thank you so much for introducing us to Scooby.
Thank you for having us. It's always a pleasure, and we'll see you soon.
If you have room in your heart for a furry friend and a forever friend, well then maybe Scooby is the perfect fit for you. You can go to Nuzzles and Co.'s website. That way you can see all of the dogs that they have available for adoption, and you're going to want to participate in this Take a Gamble on Love, because it's just a great way to get out there and support such a wonderful nonprofit here in our community. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more, so stay tuned.
watching Colorful Cooking with Tracy Miller, and I'm Tracy. Thanks for joining us. All right, we're gonna get down and dirty in the kitchen with a pretty easy recipe. And this is a recipe that I decided to share with you because everybody asked me for it. Anytime I make it for anybody, when I'm catering, they want this recipe. And it's a vegan recipe as well. So a lot of people are really excited about that. We start off with 3 small zucchinis, and I have shredded the zucchini in my food processor. So what you do after you shred the zucchini, squeeze it out. You'll be shocked how much water there is in there. And then we're gonna put some green onions in there too, just to give it a little bit of a kick. So I took I say we do about 1/4 cup of green onions and just slice them as small as you can. Get them going all the way. They smell really good. Green onions are spring onions, so they're of course in season right now. They're very fragrant. They're really good for you. Of course, put about 1/4 cup. So we have 3 cups of the zucchini, 1/4 cup of the green onion, and then what we're gonna do is put some salt and pepper. When you are seasoning your food, I don't care what it is, don't be wimpy about it. Like, be pretty generous, especially with veggies. They need salt, they need pepper, they need some good flavors. Okay, my pan is warming up, so I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil in it. And this is what I like because we're not deep fat frying them. We're not gonna get as many calories, but we're still gonna get a nice flavor. And it's nice and warm right here. So now we have our salt and pepper, we have our zucchini, we have a little bit of green onion, and I'm gonna put a little tarragon in there too. And when you're using dried herbs, just use a little bit and smush them around in your finger a little. That kind of wakes up the herb, and you can now smell the tarragon. It smells so good. And I'm gonna do a tiny, tiny pinch of nutmeg. Don't overdo that one or else you'll taste it the whole time. So typically I would put an egg in here, but I was working with some vegan customers the other day and I didn't put the egg in there, and I like it better this way. So if you feel like it's not clumping together enough, you can put an egg in, but I would say about 1/2 cup of flour. So we're gonna get that in there. And interestingly enough, I told you to drain out all the water, but we're gonna add just a little bit of water so that that is a binder. That's gonna bind everything together. And here we go. This is when you get really messy. See how that's all coming together, and it's kind of starting to stick together too. So we're gonna make little zucchini balls out of this, and then we're gonna put them in the pan and fry them lightly on each side. So what happens, this is a real quick process actually. See how easy this is? I mean, I hope people still hire me to make them zucchini fritters because it's so easy that I wonder if you won't anymore. And now we're gonna make little balls out of it. So we'll go like this. I'm gonna bust out a whole bunch of these. They don't even have to be like that pretty. When you're putting them into your pan, you wanna hear your pan sizzle. So I'm gonna crank this up a little bit because we're gonna put a bunch of cold zucchini in a pan and try to get it to sear up. So that means the pan is not gonna be quite as hot. All right, so here we go, making these little balls. This is a fun thing to do with the kids too. And like I said, the vegans, they just really, really like this. And they're kind of hearty. So if you wanted to bring them on a picnic or when you're hiking or something like that, they're easy to transport and they'll fill you up. All of our friends who have gardens around here are about to start getting a lot of zucchini. So we'll give them this recipe. They'll give you their zucchini. You make some of these for them and everybody's happy. These don't take long, so you kind of want to keep your eye on them. If you overcook them, the zucchini will get a little bit mushy and it won't be quite as good. What happens at the perfect cooking temperature is the zucchini kind of melts. It melts in your mouth. It's so creamy and delicious. Okay, we are gonna switch it up and not make it vegan anymore because we're gonna make a little aioli for the topping of these zucchini fritters. But first, let me see if they're ready. They're sizzling. It's kind of getting hot in here. They're sizzling. Let's see. Nah, that's not crispy enough. I mean, it could be if you want to be like that, but we are going to crisp it up just a little bit more. And look at how little olive oil I have in there. And I cook with olive oil over any heat. A lot of people say you can't cook with olive oil if the heat's too high, and olive oil will burn, but when you're making stuff like this and you're sauteing vegetables and something in the frying pan, you can use just a little bit of olive oil. See, it's not even soaked in there. So we're keeping the calories low. We're keeping the health benefits high. We are working with anti-inflammatory foods. Okay, real quick while these cook and then I flip them over, let's make an aioli for this. Aioli is super easy if you want to use some sour cream. What I do is about 1/4 cup of sour cream, quarter cup of mayonnaise, a whole bunch of fresh basil, like the whole thing. And it's gonna just, it smells so good in here. When I was setting up, everyone's like, what's that? Somebody's like, are those mojitos? No, they're not. It's actually basil, and it's just fresh. And all of this stuff is about to be harvested right now. So we're looking pretty good. I do lemon zest, and when you're gonna zest your lemon, make sure you buy an organic one if you can. Use your zester. This just gives it the lemon flavor that you really need, like so good, so fresh, so much lemon. Of course, we need a little bit of the juice. So I'm just gonna cut this bad boy, which is a nice lemon, not a lot of seeds. That's always nice. We're gonna cut this. We're gonna put some salt and pepper in there because basically, look at that juicy lemon. Yum, that's so delicious. Okay, and now I'm gonna put some salt and pepper in here. I'm gonna blend this when we go to break so you can just hear every word I'm saying right now. This is starting to sizzle up. It smells good. We're gonna flip these zucchini fritters. I think it's time. So it's about 4 minutes on each side, and then you actually just let them rest for a moment. Put some of the aioli on them if you want that, and enjoy them. If you want your aioli to be a vegan aioli, instead of using the sour cream and the mayonnaise, you can use avocado. So that would make it vegan. We're gonna have all the recipes on the website, so if you do wanna make these, and I highly suggest you do, then we will have those on the website. Thanks for joining us.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.